He might have lost the election, but Donald Trump never went away. Despite his poor record as president, multiple legal investigations, and the fact he tried to overturn the result in 2020, Trump's grip on the Republican Party seems to be strengthening. In August 2022, the Republicans' most ardent Trump critic, Liz Cheney, was beaten by a Trump-endorsed candidate in a Republican primary election. Could America be facing a second term of President Trump?
I think he wants to be president again. Absolutely. I think he loved being president, and he would love to have the legal protections of being president again. He loves the politics. He loves the crowds. He loves the fight. He feeds on it. And fundamentally, I mean, he loves the attention. And I think he's even more likely to run now that we've seen this federal investigation get stepped up in recent days. I think the deeper his legal jeopardy, the more likely it is that he will run. So he'll be able to present himself as a victim and run on the politics of grievance more easily if he's being prosecuted. He'll also be able to make the argument that even more forcefully, I think, that these prosecutions are partisan attempts to prevent him from returning to the White House. And so in that sense, running could help him with his legal strategy at the same time that legal problem could help him with his political strategy. There is a hard core of the Republican Party that's desperate for him to be the candidate. And you see their Trump flag still flying from their homes and from their boats. I don't think that if most Republican office holders and even candidates around the country were to speak really candidly about it, that most of them would want him to run again. I think a lot of the Republican Party is ready to turn the page. Just all the craziness, the distractions, even the cult of personality itself, I think they're tired of it. And there is another generation of Republican candidates kind of waiting impatiently in the wings, but any of them would have a very hard time overcoming the advantage that Donald Trump begins with.
Critical primaries overnight in Wyoming and Alaska with a crushing defeat for Liz Cheney at the hands of her Trump-backed opponent.
Liz Cheney's defeat didn't really come as a surprise to anybody, least of all to her. I think she'd been expecting it. She has been the strongest voice against him, really, within the Republican Party. It basically validates or concretizes the idea that standing up to Donald Trump spells electoral doom. And I think Liz Cheney's loss will be Exhibit A in the future for him of what happens if you cross him. The midterms are obviously extremely important because a number of candidates are running, particularly in Senate races in battleground states, who are Donald Trump's picks. They were not the party's picks. And so in states where the Republicans have a real shot at picking up a Senate seat, they are now fighting kind of rearguard action because the candidates that they've put forward are so weak. So if the Republicans are not able to take the Senate back as a consequence of these essentially Trump-nominated candidates, I think that will contribute to a real sense of dissatisfaction with him within the party. Now, whether that has any effect or not is an entirely different question, because the reality is Donald Trump's a proven loser, as he lost the presidency for his party, he lost the House, and he lost the Senate for his party. And other politicians in the party were grinding their teeth about this 2 years ago. And it hasn't stopped them from falling into line once again now. So even if Donald Trump's chosen candidates underperform, that's not necessarily a problem for him when it comes to securing the Republican nomination again. I think he would struggle in a general election to win a majority of the votes. That's different than saying he can't be elected president again, though, because as we've seen, there is a path to the presidency that runs through piling up enough electoral votes in key battleground states that could potentially get him there again with minority support. The scariest development in the last few years in American politics has been the denigration of the integrity of the vote. Republican candidates for key roles in counting the vote next time around are people who have completely bought into the so-called big lie that Donald Trump did win. We may be in a situation where he does well in these battleground states, and he has allies that he didn't have last time in key positions, who are in a position to falsify the results. It's a dark prospect, but I think we've learned, in the last few years that we have to take these kinds of scenarios very seriously because, Donald Trump has repeatedly broken through the boundaries of everybody else's political imagination. If you'd like to read more of our coverage of American politics, please click the link. And please also subscribe. And thank you very much for watching.